Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Croatian lawmakers were back in session today after the spring break. They opened with a heated debate over the ratification of the Istanbul Convention on combating and preventing violence against women. Despite assurances from the Prime Minister and the HDZ's leaders that the document will not introduce so-called gender ideology into Croatia's legal system and schools, several more conservative HDZ MPs have said they will not support ratification.
Placing this convention on the agenda is the product of the program and political will of the HDZ-led government in cooperation with its partners, and not the outcome of any pressure they may have tried to apply. The same goes for pressure from the opposition, NGOs, or any international institutions. That's important for the Croatian public to understand. We are experiencing a rising tide of anti-European sentiment, something I never thought could happen in Croatia in 2018. I'm wondering what is the purpose of the explanatory statement and why the need to distance ourselves from the idea of gender, when there is no gender ideology in the document, but there is a definition of gender in Article 3. It is time for us to distance ourselves from the backward forces that are trying to take us back into the Middle Ages. I think you've let the genie out of the bottle and you don't know how to put him back.
The split within the HDZ over the Istanbul Convention overshadowed any other activities in Parliament today. According to sources, 10 HDZ MPs will vote against ratification. The Prime Minister is not dismissing the possibility that the convention is being used by conservatives as a weapon to topple him from power.
We did what we had to do to ease the concerns of those who were afraid of this.
But they are still concerned. Why is that?
It means they are feeling pressured.
The conservative HRT party, which has one seat in Parliament, announced today that they are pulling out of the ruling coalition. HRT said that they would not back Economy Minister Martina Dalic in a recall motion, and 2 of their members would quit their respective positions in the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Education.
We are giving up all the positions and seats we had within the ruling coalition government because we want to retain our credibility.
UN war crimes judges have overturned the acquittal of Vojislav Šešelj, sentencing the Serb ultra-nationalist to 10 years in prison. Šešelj had already spent 12 years in pre-trial detention, so the penalty is considered already served. The leader of the Serb Radical Party was acquitted in 2016 on charges of war crimes committed in Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. In the reversal, he was found guilty of instigating the deportation and persecution of Croats in Vojvodina. Šešelj was not in the courtroom today.
Finds Šešelj guilty. Pursuant to Article 1 of the Mechanism Statute and Articles 5D, 5H, 5I, and 7.1 of the ICTY Statute, and enters convictions under counts 1, 10, and 11 of the indictment for instigating persecution, forcible displacement, deportation, and other inhumane acts, forcible transfer, as crimes against humanity, and for committing persecution, violation of the right to security, as a crime against humanity in Hrtkovice, Vojvodina. Sentences Šešelj to a term of 10 years of imprisonment.
The law may have been served, but justice has not been served. He was sentenced to 10 years. He actually served 11. We do have some moral satisfaction from the fact that Vojislav Šešelj is now a war criminal. There is no doubt about that anymore. Mr. Šešelj could have received a tougher sentence, but he got what he got, and that is some moral satisfaction for all the victims of Serbia's policies, moral satisfaction for Croats, and for Croats in Serbia. It is a very light sentence. The sentence is just more of what we would call the Hague's brand of justice.
The filmmaker who received critical acclaim for his documentary Gazda, the Boss, about Ivica Todorić, the founder of Agrokor, is making all of the information he gathered for the project public. Dario Jurican says the move is his response to the lack of competence shown by the group of lawmakers investigating the Agrokor case. He is offering a reward for information on the names of bankers who took part in so-called factoring transactions.
There is grounds to suspect that they were using the data about their clients' accounts and passing that information on to Agrokor, which is a crime. We want to uncover their names, and we are offering a reward of up to 100,000 kuna for this information.
The 20th anniversary edition of the Croatia Boat Show has opened in Split. This year's fair is twice the size of last year's and features 150 vessels, including some 30 Croatian premiers. Organizers of the event are hoping to bring the fair back into its prime a decade ago, when it was one of the 5 biggest boat shows in the world.
We put in some extra effort this year because it's the 20th anniversary edition of the show. However, the most important thing is that the market is slowly recovering. Of course, until boat sales pick up, the fair can't develop either. We're counting on growth over the next decade rather than the stagnation we've had up until now.
In sports, the 35th International Rowing Regatta, the Croatia Open, will take place this weekend in Zagreb. It is the first major rowing competition of the season in this part of Europe. Croatia's 2-time Olympic silver medalist, Damir Martin, will be making a comeback after an injury. His race is on Saturday, and it's expected to be the highlight of the event. Tomorrow's forecast calls for sunny and dry weather in many parts of the country, especially the east and the south. However, clouds and rain are expected on the north coast and in Istria starting in the morning. The rest of the country can expect rain and thunder showers by evening. There will be a moderate to high southeasterly on the coast. Winds in the north will turn to a northwesterly starting in the late afternoon. Morning lows will range from 5 to 10 inland and from 11 to 14 on the Adriatic. The day's highs will be between 18 and 23 for most of the country and up to 26 degrees in the east. Looking ahead to the weekend, Friday and Saturday will be mostly sunny and dry in the interior. Parts of interior Dalmatia may get some morning rain on Friday. Conditions on Sunday will be variable with intermittent periods of clouds and rain as well as sunshine. Temperatures will remain relatively stable. Nice weather is expected on the coast over the next few days. After some light rain on Friday morning, sunshine is expected for the rest of the weekend. A southeasterly wind will rise along the shore on Sunday, signaling that conditions will be less stable going into the new week. And that brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.